Welcome, Dan and Christie, to This Busy Life, the podcast. You're getting interviewed this time, and you'll have to teach us a thing or two along the way.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine without us.
We're talking to real professionals now.
Yeah, literally. We're on your show.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on and making time for us. I know things are probably a little bit crazy at the moment. We start every episode with an icebreaker on what has been your lesson and win for the week.
Oh, it's been a busy week. We had a job last week, which is crazy.
Yeah.
What has been the lesson? I think the big lesson is that work isn't everything for me. Like, it's always been family. Like, radio is a big part of our life and it's part of our personality. But to be home, to wake up to your kids, it's just been probably one of the greatest weeks of my life in that aspect, because I can see them every morning. I can drop them off to school. And that's what matters. It's family that matters in the end. It's not your job really per se. But in saying that, we kept on trying our jobs and just podcasting from a caravan in your backyard, Christie. So, like, we still love what we do, but like our voices were taken from us. It was a big kick to the guts, and then a kick in the nuts as you went off. You know,
I don't have them,
at the
but
end. Yeah, you don't have them yet. There's still time.
Although I think women are just as strong.
Like,
yeah,
have some balls.
Yeah, we've got balls.
You've got balls.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Big hairy ones.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Albo's seen them. Yeah,
yeah. Well, he has. It's funny when you talk about lessons and I think identity. And we live in this world where so often, and particularly for women, and I say women specifically because we manage things like maternity leave and should I go back to the workforce and where am I at? And there's so many factors that come into that play. And I think the last week specifically, I really learned, as Dan just said, and I already did know this, but I actually experienced the lesson as opposed to knowing the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you really relive a lesson, which is that don't service the needs of a business over servicing the needs of your family. And it is easier said than done, because we live in a world when you want to perform well at work or when you feel like there's pressure on you to do those things well. I went back to work with my daughter, my baby Goldie. She's only 7 months now, and everything was fine with our former employee, as in like me taking time off or whatnot. But I really, really wish they had taken more time to be at home, because I lost this precious time with my baby that I won't get back. And it was all kind of for nothing now anyway. And I did that to be a great employee and to do my job really well and to have all those pressures that we face. And women can never make the right choice, you know, whether you want to go back to work, whether you want to stay home, whether you are in a position where you can go back to work or you need the money. Like, there's so many different things. So that was the big lesson for us this week especially, but particularly with the rushing, you know, to learn to not rush back into anything, because the rest of the world, as we know, it will always keep ticking on without you, right?
Yeah. This is something I learned myself too, because I didn't take maternity leave. I run my own business, so I couldn't anyway. But I was back in the office replying to emails 2 days after a cesarean. And the reason why I did that was because I wanted to keep the staff happy, and we were growing the team so quickly and that type of thing. And we lost the staff anyway at the end. So it was kind of like, again, what was the point of all that? When I could have had more time at home. I didn't have to be replying to emails from staff, having like dramas about who said this and who did that when they weren't with us anymore anyway. So,
and you had a cesarean. How does that even work? Like, where is the laptop? I had a cesarean. My daughter.
I was about to
say, the stitches.
Surgery.
Yeah. How were you even sitting up? How were you functioning? Like, and that shows you, doesn't it? Like the pressure that people feel with performing in work. And the way that, because nothing will ever tip in balance in life. It's always going to tip in favor of work or in favor of home. And we just went, now moving forward, let's normalize. Things need to tip in the direction of home.
Yeah.
And we said this on our own podcast. Let's lose the expression work hard.
Yeah.
We work well.
Yeah.
So when we're working, work well. Throw everything into it. Be a great employee, be a great boss, be a great colleague, all those things. But work well and home hard, you know, like we need to home harder, not work harder, but be harder at home. Yeah.
This is something I've also been trying to do as well, because I've been getting backlash recently because I only work in the office 3 days a week. But apparently I'm this person that shows how busy I am and work really hard and things like that. But I've never hidden away from the fact that I'm at home with my son 2 days a week. And so I've also wanted to, instead of saying, oh, I'm so busy and works really hard and things, I always try to be like, it's balanced. It might not look like it to everybody because I am busy, but to me, this is balance and this is what I can do well.
Yeah.
For those that don't know you, I know most people do, but we do have people listening overseas and we have mainland audience as well. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, my name's Dan Taylor. I'm the brother of Tubes Taylor that you've had on this podcast, which is great. He also works in radio and has 2 jobs. That's 2 more than I have. I'm a father. I'm a husband to Jane, my wife. I've got 2 little kids, Isabel and Maddie. So that's, first of all, how I see myself. I don't see myself. I've been a radio announcer for 23 years, but I'm always a husband, a father, a son, a brother. That's who I am as a person. But I'm also a stand-up comedian, and I'm good friends with this person, Christie Hayes, who for the last 4 years has been my best friend, which is very good.
I paid him to say that.
Yeah, and she was also
No one's paying
home and
us
away
now.
for a very long time. I don't know if you know about that.
Yes,
but
my
she was
pop's
on
going to be very excited about this.
Yeah, so's my dad.
Yeah.
He watches every single night. So I used to watch her on television every night and was a big fan before I even met her. But
oh my God. Same.
yeah, same.
My childhood is like huge right now.
Do you remember her boyfriend Kane,
Yes,
who had
I
the tiny
do.
mouth?
Stop it.
Good old Kirsty Southern. Let's go windsurfing.
He's
Yeah.
got a great mouth.
He was fed with just bird seed at times.
Stop
Oh my
it.
God. Stop it.
Yeah, he's a great man, Sam
He's
Atwell.
beautiful.
But yeah, that's pretty much in a nutshell what I've been doing for a very long time. But Christy, you've got a much better
No.
life than I have.
Okay, we talked about positive pitching. We talked
Oh, yeah,
positively
yeah,
pitch
yeah.
yourself.
Mhm.
I need to be his confidence coach. Well, I'm Christy,
Yeah.
and I'm Justin's wife and Hendrix and Harley and Goldie's mum because, of course, well, I would say those things anyway, but family first. I have 4 sisters, so I have a big
Wow.
family. I'm Indigenous and Aboriginal is, who I am. I'm an Aboriginal and proud of it. I've worked in the media since I was about 8. Growing up, I always wanted to be an actress, just always. I mean, for 2 seconds, I did want to be a doctor, but that was not going to happen.
You don't have the social
yeah,
skills for a doctor.
no,
You're
and
too good with
You could
that.
be on All Saints,
Yeah.
at least. Yeah.
Well, we used to film next door to All Saints, and that was really cool. Like, to play a doctor would be great, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in life. You have to. It's great to have passions and it's great to have dreams, but we have to work toward our alignment and our wheelhouse. What you are good at, it will love you back. So I got my first TV commercial when I was 8. And we flew to New Zealand, my mum and I don't know what happened to the money, but that was my first experience
That's
filming
fun.
something. And I went, I want to do this like forever. And so I started on a TV show when I was 11 called The Search for Treasure Island, which was a really fun show. Big Grundy production. Grundy Productions in Australia do incredible television shows. And so it was such a thrill to do that. And then I got on Home and Away when I was a young girl, and I was on Home and Away for about 12 years altogether. I started on it,
Wow.
took a break.
I didn't realize it
went
was
back.
that long. Yeah.
Over the period of time.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of various kind of gigs in my life, which have brought me a lot of joy. I love being on stage. I love performing. I was on Neighbours for a bit too, and I've done some Australian films, and I've also worked in radio for a long time. And that's how I met this guy to my right, who is one of my best friends ever and will be for a long
Aw.
time afterwards. And it's also how my husband Justin is a broadcaster and is on Triple M. And we fell in love with our old radio station, but it was all like, shh, 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 like hush, hush, hush. And then they found out because we went on a plane trip together to go and film Neighbours, and he was coming down to come alongside to help set it up because he was the tech guy for the radio station, so I could still be on it and film at the same time. And like everyone on the plane, because it was only a small plane, people complained that we laughed too much because I've been told I have a loud laugh. And so the powers that be found out about it, but we, ran away and got married, and we've been happily married ever since.
That's so cute.
And so that's kind of
love
my story.
story.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love
Do what we
it.
can, can't we?
Yeah.
It's nice though. We're so lucky to have great spouses.
Mm.
You're only as good as your team, and not just in the workplace, but in your life, which comes back to the, work
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
home harder.
Yeah.
We are only as good as our team, aren't we? The people that we spend our time with outside
Yeah.
of the 8 hours at work.
Mm.
Absolutely.
We pitch this all the time that you can't be who you are if your partner isn't supporting you, because you can't do everything and you need to have that help. So whether it's, them just putting the child to bed or reading them a book or being able to take them without you asking and giving a list of things that need to be done, or knowing what shoe size they are. So if you run out of shoes, they can go and get the shoes and things like that. It's so important to have somebody in your corner. And if you don't, I just feel for them because you can't do everything if you don't have that team.
Oh, you have to have
Yeah.
a quality, don't
Have
you?
the bullet village.
Yeah. Yeah.
It takes a village. And
And-
and how many of us don't have villages now?
Yeah.
Mm.
Life is so busy.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the name of your show. And we are so spread thin, particularly when combining working and parenting and all those things
And the fact
too.
that
And-
most grandparents aren't retired till they're 70 and then they're too old and frail to look after your children.
Mm.
Mm.
It's hard, isn't it?
You two had to relocate for the show 4 years ago. Did you want to speak about that a little bit too? Because it's not something that everyone has to do to
No,
relocate to a small
it's
town.
like musical chairs with radio.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I've lived everywhere in Australia. I've travelled around. I was on the mainland for 10 years, moved from Melbourne to Sydney, then back to Melbourne, and then back to Launceston eventually, like when our daughter Isabel was about 3 weeks old. So you literally go where the chairs are, which is crazy because, like, someone will leave and you're like, oh, God, I want that job. And usually I'd apply for it and I'd never get it. And this was one of the jobs I just assumed I wouldn't get because that's been basically my whole life is just always in the conversation, never got the job. And I had a chat to Christie. We were in Campbelltown and I'm like, hey, mate, I'm in Campbelltown. She's like, where the hell's that? And I'm like, oh, it's Take a Shit Town. You stop on the way from, Launceston to Hobart.
That sounds nice.
And it sounds nice.
Take a shit and get a lolly.
Yeah. Check out the big log and do a log at the same time. So I literally had a conversation with Christie. I just couldn't believe I was chatting to Christie Hayes. Like that was worth it alone. I'm like, oh, even if we just audition together, this will be fun. And we just got on like a house on fire. Like it was crazy chemistry early. And we did a thing called a demo where, Christie's on the Central Coast where I used to work. I got fired by the same company. So Christie and the husband were there. And like I knew everyone in that building. So it's quite funny. The person that put you on the airwaves was Jimmy Love, a guy that I trained back in the day. So it was really easy to start chatting. Yeah. And Christie was brilliant and funny, and I knew that was the show. Like I just knew immediately. But like even trying to get Christie to Tasmania would have been bloody hard for our boss because it's like, well, she's a superstar. How is she actually going to turn up?
They're his words, not mine.
Yeah.
It's very sweet. Yeah. But it was funny, wasn't it? Because relocating to Tassie was I was excited to do it. I had wanted to do that prior to the gig anyway. So, for instance, my family history, a lot of my family from Glenorchy. That's where my father's side is from, right?
Cool.
Apparently, I was conceived on White Beach. I didn't need to know that, but, there we go.
Love it.
Yeah, so go to your shack. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, everybody. But I just thought it would be so lovely to have the Tassie lifestyle. I had been in the city in Sydney for so many years and I've done busy cities and I've done all those things. And I am starting to get to a point where it's, as you know, when you've got a family, you have to weigh up what a successful life is, right? Like, is success being able to drive to my kid's soccer game in peace, or is it bumper to bumper traffic, even if there's more people? So whatever success looks like to someone, but I'm one of those people that really do place family balance and easy lifestyle, I guess. And that's one thing I loved about Tassie was, I have to move and I had to come ahead of my husband and my family. So being away from my kids was very hard, like excruciatingly painful. And it took them about 6 months to be able to follow. So Dan drove me to work. I had no car. Dan picked me up from my house. Dan actually then when I got a rental, Dan went to the place for me and was my proxy and did a video tour and found me a house, which was really cool.
It's so nice.
Yeah, so that was really hard to come ahead of the family, but that's one thing I loved to hear about everyone in Hobartians.
Yeah.
So sweet and welcoming.
Yeah.
So it was worth it though. Like it took a while to get the family here, but it was all worth it in the end. Or was it? I mean,
I don't know. 4 years of greatness.
I do remember listening to you at the start and then the shift in how you're speaking once your family were here as well.
Yeah.
Really?
And that was when I really connected with you because obviously, and we'll talk about the question later with the loyalty of the show before you, was the change, and Tasmanians don't like change. But then once we heard your voice come through when your family were here, it was really nice. And I still remember that moment because I was like, oh, wow, like you could just feel how cozy you were feeling once they were here.
You felt
Thank
warm.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's really
it was
sweet.
really nice.
It's really interesting observation. But it really does show you, hey, the driving force behind someone's heart or empathy or what they can bring to someone. We always have this thing in life where we always have to put on a smile on our faces when we're going through a hard time or whatnot. And sometimes hearing people that are going through a sad time themselves personally, it's hard for people to be around or hear. And as soon as you have that change in what's most important to you, it really does make such a difference to how you can be showing up for the rest of the world, if that makes sense. So
absolutely.
It's so nice that you said that. Thank you. Yeah, it made a huge difference.
Going back to having your family and your support, how did that work with having to relocate with your partners and the families and moving schools? And changing jobs for them as well.
Yeah, that's difficult because my kids, before they were even in grade 1, had been to 4 different schools, which is crazy to think. And they'd moved several times due to just rentals, basically, and other schools where we were in Launceston. And even to say to the whole family, hey, we're going to Hobart.
Yeah.
It's a shock to the system because Isabel loved grade 1. We were at Mowbray Heights there and she made really good friends. And then just all of a sudden, she's in a brand new school. She's getting bullied from people. Like she's a new kid. It's really hard to uproot the family. And Maddie was I think she was like 4. So she was still in daycare at that stage. And even to my wife, like luckily she is a Hobartian. So she's like, well, I've got family down here. I've got my mother, I've got my sister, and her other sister too lives down here. And I had my brother. So I'm like, oh, cool. I'll get to hang out with my brother every day. This would be great.
Lucky boy.
Well, he hasn't bloody talked to me in 4 years. So but he's a big part of why we wanted to come down to Hobart. And I think it's like just the excitement of it. Like it's an opportunity we couldn't pass up. So, we just bought a house in Launceston. So we're like, well, do we rent this out? What do we do? My co-host, I had to tell her, which was devastating, Marie, and she was my best friend too. Like I literally was very lucky in that job and was part of Launceston community, and I had to uproot it all and go, all right, let's start again. And that was saying goodbye to some of my best friends, which is, to this day, I talk to her every day kind of thing. So yeah, it's a difficult thing. And it's even worse for Christie because like she had to move her entire family from the Central Coast, which is a pain in the arse, isn't it? Like it's like 15 hours worth of transit.
Well, it was a big move. It was a big move, but having said that, we've moved around a lot, as Dan has too. So, and especially with the arts, with TV, with media, with radio, whatever, like I'm always up for an adventure. So we've moved around a lot of places, but it was also highly worth it. It was a great adventure. And I don't, you've always got to look on the positive side. I'm so glad we did it. I'm glad we moved to Queensland throughout COVID because we went and lived in this tiny little town in the middle of nowhere. There was like 1,000 people and my parents had a little house there. So everything was closed in New South Wales and obviously in Victoria as well. And we were lucky to get across the border and we had a great time there. Some of the happiest times of my life. And I mean, we had nothing. Like we lived in like what's called a donga out the back of my parents' property, right? Because it was safe to be there in Queensland and, the whole world was just in disarray and we had nothing, but we also had everything. I really loved it. Nice little bubble.
That's
and,
so great.
you got to always look on the positive side in life, right? I love traveling. I love adventures, How lucky that I got to come to Hobart and discover this beautiful place to live and have a family.
So special.
I love it here.
I love it here too.
I'm Tasmanian born and bred.
Yeah.
We've had multiple opportunities to move for work. And for me, I'm like, no, I'll just stay and fly up and back.
And it snowed. It snowed on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Like, how lucky are we that it snowed on Christmas Day?
Yeah.
I'm part of the Tasmanian Snow Reports Facebook group, which Dan makes fun of me. I love the group. Yes, I love it. Thank you. At least someone does, because you can get all the information of where it's snowing. Take the kids up for the snow. I mean, how many other places in Australia can you go to the beautiful, the East Coast beaches or whatnot, or White Beach, and then also jump in the car and go the opposite direction and go and see snow on Christmas Day? Like, how special.
That is really
How special is that?
Really special. When we were talking about loyalty, we had a question around that as well. And that is that when you came, you were coming to replace Jimmy and Nath, which was Tasmania's showboys, basically. And the community that they built was absolutely incredible. And the trust they built around the Tasmanian community was massive. They were doing the jack jumpers. They were doing I don't know how
they were doing AFL.
They were doing
cricket.
They were doing absolutely everything. They're also
Yeah.
young and at the time, like they were growing up at the same time. Tasmanians are super loyal in that way as well. So once they cling on to someone, they kind of cling on. How was that for you coming into that, and how did you build your community off that as well?
You see, that's a really hard thing in radio. It always happens. Like when you replace whoever it was. So say for Chili FM, it was Tim and Josh, and there's like, you'll never be Josh. And I'm like, well, all right, I don't know, very different to this person. And Jimmy and Nath had that, and I knew the guys before we jumped into their seats, and I knew what they'd achieved in that small amount of time. But they received it when they first started. I still remember, like Jimmy would say, he's like, oh, there were people petitioning for us to be fired immediately, and like, you haven't given these guys a chance. And they did. They were a conduit to others. They really attached themselves to charities and things like that. And Jack Jumpers was massive for them. They had such a big following, and they were hard shoots to fill for us. And we knew that. We knew it would take time to earn people's trust, but that's what it was. You've got to kind of earn that listener's trust by being who you are. Don't try and be like them at all, and which we didn't try and do. You know, they're the Jimmy and Nath brand. They do their thing. We're Dan and Christie. We're totally different. Like we're one. We've got families together. Those boys didn't have that at the time. So like, you know, it's a big hard thing to do, but eventually I think we got there. But it took a while, didn't it? Like it was hard.
Look, I was lucky because I had the same manager as Jimmy and Nath before, you know, and in the industry, like it's a small industry, and the boys were so lovely. And they were excited that we were coming here. They handed us the baton. There wasn't any, like it was their choice to go and move on and do their thing in Sydney. And they built up a beautiful community, and we were so respectful of that. And I think as well, people always think that you're going guns blazing trying to replicate that, but certainly the key and authentic self that you are is to never try and replicate, but just try and find your own feet and just be yourself, because the second you try and be someone else, the listener can hear that immediately. And I think as well, the difference in our show, and Dan just touched on that too, is we could kind of bring different things to the show, just like they did. We have children. That was a big part of our show, and not just to get the kids on the air, but to talk about motherhood and fatherhood and various places that I think we just organically grew together. And Jim and Nath sent beautiful messages individually when we parted ways with what we were doing, and they were some of the first people to reach out and offer support. So it's like that in radio, because people get used to a voice, and I think especially a voice that has also fallen in love with the sound that they hear, not just giving someone your ears, but giving someone your heart. And so we're lucky because we are both really good people that came in behind them to try and still give our hearts to the audience as well. And there were, of course, people that, you know, I'm sure to this day wanted Jim and Nath back, and, you know, I know have wanted us back, and that's just the nature of the job as well. So we just wanted to be as honest and authentic as we could with our listeners, and hoped that it worked, because when a network puts you in a show, they expect the audience to fall in love with you and you to fall in love with them. It's like a blind date. That's what I said. And sometimes things work out and sometimes they don't, you know. And so I think that's what was painful as well, is that the relationship was taken away without consent from us, because this obviously, you know, when we moved on from our last show, it was very quick. But them's the breaks, and we had a great time. And we like to believe that the listeners came along because they had a great time as well.
Yeah. I'm sure they certainly did. I know I did. Well, no, I really did though. And I think specifically for you two is that you both a different dynamic as well. Like you both brought something completely different to the table. So I would love to know, particularly Christie, like you shared a lot of your vulnerabilities with your birthing journey and all that kind of stuff. And I know that there's been plenty of people that have shared tears and excitement and everything in between for both of your journeys. I would love to know, like, what was that experience like for you, being so open and so vulnerable? And was there any, not necessarily backlash, but any lessons you didn't expect by sharing that?
Well, I'm a big believer as a broadcaster and as a person in general, but especially as a broadcaster, you just have to be you with what you're going through on air, right? And the second you start to talk about stuff, it'll actually surprise you by how many other people might experience it or be keeping it to themselves. So I brought to the air that I was trying to have a baby, and it just started as a fun, casual part of our conversations. And Dan and I grew that trust together, because you also have to have the trust and relationship with your co-host
to be able to do that.
To share that with the listener, right? And so we just started to talk about baby trying, and we had fun, and then it got serious, and then it got really hard. And I think a lot of people related to that, especially women. And then devastatingly, I also, at the end of 2023, lost a baby that I fell pregnant with. And I had two choices. I could have kept that to myself and taken a few weeks off and cried. I was lucky it happened in the Christmas holidays. Dan and I were off air at the time, so I had that time and space. But it just redefined who I was as a person. So for me, instinctively, I wanted to share that, because I knew that it affects so many women. 1 in 3 women suffer the loss of a baby. So statistically, one of us in this room right now has, and I'll put my hand up to not make anyone else uncomfortable, but say that happened to me. And then I guess all the support and messages came in to talk about things like that. And so then we went through IVF, and it didn't work. And then I didn't bring it to air the first time I did a transfer, because I was scared it wouldn't work. And then the last time I went, well, this is going to be the last time we do this IVF transfer. I can't go through this again. And I just thought, I'd actually really love to put it out there. Yes, it's vulnerable and scary to put yourself out there as a broadcaster and as a person, but I'm so glad I did, because I honestly believe that the messages and the warmth and the positivity and the science, of course, and the acupuncture and the Macca's fries and Dan's jokes, all those things, it just, things aligned and it worked. So I guess it's just about being who you are, isn't it? And not being scared. If you have a microphone, and it takes many years to lose fear, but to just lose the fear and just, you might get judged, you might get hated, you might get liked or loved, but more so what you are doing is helping people. Because they need to know that they're not alone.
Something I also loved about that story too was the fact that so many people feel like they can't talk about trying for a baby in their workplace because they're worried about what will happen if they will not get that next promotion, if they, all those types of things that come with saying that you're trying for a baby. Did you experience that as well yourself? Were you worried how that will come across, or were you just happy to ride the wave?
No, I was. I still felt that, the nerve and the fear. I mean, especially I think we were on contracts at the time too, and so you never want to put it out there to people, and every working woman knows what this is like, where you go, oh my God, I'll keep it to myself just in case, and then what if it doesn't happen, and I don't want them to see me now as someone who's going to be away, or there's 1,000 different factors. But because our job was unique, and I thought I've still got to just say it anyway, and I mean, I'm also going to have time off for egg transfer, so people are going to know about it. But it's funny because the workplace started to, people would come up in the kitchen and just whisper little things. Oh, hey, we're going through it as well. Good luck with it all. Thinking of you.
Yeah. They're really supportive.
Really supportive. And not just women, men. We had beautiful interactions, which was really nice, especially for my husband. Or even a same-sex relationship, whoever the partner of the person might be. The more you talk about it, the less alone I think you feel in the experience. But I was nervous in the workplace to bring it up because we don't live in a world where people might say we live in a world where a woman taking time off to have a baby and nurture a family is celebrated, but it still requires different planning for businesses. There's obviously stresses that go into that. And so we still walk this balance of, should I say anything? Should I not say anything? Yeah. And then even Dan, when we spoke about it, told us his story with his wife, and his mates have gone through the same thing.
Well, that's it. And it opened up conversations in our group chats with even the men who are so stoic, and they put up a wall in front of things. And I've always been like that on air until I met Christie too. I'm like, oh, no one would want to hear that story. Me and my wife went through something very similar years ago in between our two daughters too. And as soon as Christie started talking about it, I felt comfortable to talk about it, which is crazy to think that I would do it on air, because my old self would never do it. I'm like, I don't want to touch that. It's too raw, too emotional for you. But to see Goldie, the miracle that eventually turned up, it was worth every second. That's the greatest moment in my broadcasting career, and just in my normal life, to see Goldie in the world. And she's so beautiful. Yeah. She's got a beautiful smile, and it's really. You went through hell and back during that time, and that's the hardest thing to go through. Seeing your best friend what you went through, but you made it out, and this little miracle that Goldie's here is worth every second, isn't it? It's amazing, really. Yeah. And every kid's like that. You guys know, it's Sorry, I didn't.
No, that is so beautiful.
That's so nice. And I never cry.
Literally. But isn't it powerful, us using our voices and then slowly hearing people go, me too? Yeah. What an incredible platform to be able to speak about that on and make that conversation less daunting in the future.
And it is. And Christie was like that all the time. She was fearless, and watching her, I was always in awe of what she could do, because it's just stuff that I would just normally even when the Prime Minister came in, Christie went in real hard. And I'm like, I don't like confrontation, but as soon as he said the words he said, I'm like, oh God, this is going to be national headlines. And it was because he said the wrong thing and people turned on him. Yeah. And Christie's like that. She is strong. She's powerful with the voice. And I think that's what the microphones are for. And
100%. Speak up for those that can't speak.
Well, that's right. I had a responsibility in that moment. I was like, I have to speak. I'm speaking now for people that don't have a voice. I have read messages from women, as has Dan. I have immersed myself in the language of what it's like with the crisis that we have in Australia. We lose a woman every 4 days, and not just in domestic violence situations, but from a stranger, from walking down the street. Like it's a problem.
Going for a
run, you know. Yeah. And that conversation happened because how often do you get an opportunity to look someone in the eye and have a direct conversation? And it also happened because of Dan. Dan provided that safe space. There's not a lot of people that would do that. No. Not a lot of male broadcasters would do that in Australia by standing by their co-host like he did. By allowing me to go there, that wasn't let's just talk about the footy because it feels a bit weird in this room. You know, Dan is so much better than that.
Yeah.
And so that was a team effort between the two of us. And that just comes from caring, using your voice and not being scared. I was like, I'm not scared of you.
No.
Dude, I've had my autistic kid running around a park peeing on a bush in front of people. That's having shame and being nervous and apologetic. But you know, and we women we apologize too much.
Yes,
I'm not doing that anymore. You know, we apologize too much. Oh, I'm sorry I spoke up. Oh, I'm sorry I said this. Oh, I'm sorry my child did that. And yes, of course, there's a time and place to apologize for our child's behavior if they're in the wrong, but not just by being who we are. And I think that the great thing about that was an experience for us because we actually got to make a difference or at least contribute to the conversation irrespective of what happened.
And we had a lady that came up to us because we were talking about femicide on air, and she came up and she was shaking, and she came up and shook both our hands, and she said, and I'm going to get emotional again, but she said, you saved our lives. And she goes, my family are away from the guy that was abusive towards us. I heard you guys speaking about it. I got help. I called the number that you guys spoke about. And you're like, and we saved one person's life. And she said, you saved my life. And to this day, like, you know, no matter what we said on air, like, that's the most important thing that has ever happened to us. And she came up and hugged us both, and we hugged her for ages. It was, it was beautiful. But like, you're making that, you kind of you forget what power is in a microphone.
Yeah.
And that connection to people too, because like Christie brought that up, and Christie is brilliant for that because she's like, this is what's happening in Australia. This is absolute epidemic, and it's half the population that's going through it, which is huge. And you don't realize the power until you've actually, you know, held that person in your arms and they've said thank you for speaking up.
Yeah.
You know, but you'll always do that. That's why we've started podcasting ourselves from the backyard because you know, there's so much more to say. Yeah, from a caravan. Caravan and Christie.
I love the caravan. I've heard
it's
so much about
unreal,
the caravan.
Justin, Christie's husband, has, you know, a bunch of awesome gear, and you realise you can do it from anywhere, like just in here. You know, we're in a room. And
when I first did the podcast, so this is the second time I've done it, and we had to stop it just because my TikTok business blew up. We didn't have the capacity for more staff at the time, so I had to give up the podcast. Yeah. But at the time, I was getting like thousands of downloads per episode, and I was literally doing it with my laptop, one of those snow globe microphones in my car. And that's all it was, and I was getting thousands of downloads. And now with this podcast, like, we put so much more money into it. Because so much more overpopulated space now, oversaturated space. The downloads aren't as what they were then. But it's like, oh my gosh, if I did what I did then, what we're doing now, it would be like,
be completely different.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. And you started.
Yeah.
And we don't need to wait till everything's perfect before we start. Just start.
That was
just start.
The time is now.
The time is now. You don't need to have, I mean, it's great, you know, hi everyone, the cameras are great and the mics are wonderful, of course, and Hype Productions do fantastic work, but people just want to hear you and they want to be with you, and and you know, it makes it real. That's what people like, is just getting to know you. So I'm so happy that you had that interaction straight away, and I can see why you ladies are having that with your podcast, because you're using your voice and you're being authentic. That's what people want, right?
So I wanted to start the podcast for ages again. I tried 2 or 3 times, but I just knew I needed a co-host. I just felt like I just needed that person, and having that busier lifestyle and being a mum and those types of things, like my brains are not always working 100%. So I just thought I needed someone else. And I went to one of Ash's events. We didn't even really know each other before, and I went to one of her Mum in Leadership events, and I was like, you are my co-host.
It's you.
They do come in handy.
She came up to me in netball, I remember, and she's like, I have a proposal for you. We need to have a chat.
I'm going to be your wing attack. You're going to be goal defense.
And I'm here if you need. Literally.
You had a bib on at the time? Yeah, good.
Like Sharon off.
Cat Strzelecki.
Shireen. So it never needs to be perfect, I think. And as long as you're saying, as long as you're authentic to each other, And I think that's what our listeners are liking as well, that we're getting to know each other at the same time through the podcast. So I think it's really important to move in that way as well.
As you guys get to know each other, they'll get to know you as well.
Yeah.
And they'll get to go deeper with you as you guys go deeper. And it's a beautiful thing to be privy to, is to be a part of a relationship and learn and grow together and cry together and laugh together and do all the things that you'll keep doing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dan, we had your brother on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, as you know.
Yep.
And we talked a little bit about your having to be in competition with each other and how that's gone. How do you feel now about your brother being on air and you're not?
It's funny because he does have two jobs, and one of them is a journalist job for Southern Cross. So he's the sports guy, and I studied journalism for 4 years. So it's quite funny and ironic that my brother still, has a job in radio, which I've been working for 23 years, and he's also a journalist, which is I spent 30 grand on and have a HECS debt that I've been paying off
have the top
for a long time.
You did have the top show.
We had the top show too, but I've never been competitive in, even 7HO. I'll give them a shout out now. I'm good friends with them all.
they're beautiful people.
They're beautiful people. Tubes and Kaz are two of my favourite people. Rhea, their producer, adore Rhea. So if we get our mics taken off, I'm wishing everyone the best. I never competed against Tubes, but I think vice versa. He doesn't share his toys. He never he gave me anything. He never shared a guest with us, for example, or anything like that. We saw Albo and we're like, oh, they've got Prime Minister Anthony Albanese here. I'm like, oh, that's nice. They didn't actually tell us. And he actually just walked past the studio and he popped his head in and he goes, why am I not with you guys? I'm like, that's my brother.
Yes, that's right.
I said, that's my brother in there. He didn't tell us you were on the show. And so, he just jumped in with us, which is kind of funny.
So great.
But he's a well-wisher. And I think, when we were fired, he's my best friend, and he always will be. And it's and he might have a love-hate relationship with me at times, but
that's because you've always been number one, though, Dan.
I think he's got a chip on his shoulder, doesn't he? Yeah.
And he loves his brother, and he's the big brother.
Yeah.
And he's really proud of Dan, and he'll come up to me.
Very protective.
Oh, yeah. He'll come up
Did you
and
listen
tell
to the
me
episode with him and how much
I can't stand watching him. No, I haven't, but I've seen bits and pieces. I saw the videos that went up. Yeah.
No, he rated you a lot.
Oh, that's nice.
It was really nice, actually.
Really nice.
Yeah. Well, I'm the Temu Taylor, so I wouldn't want one of his 7 jobs that he does. So but he works very hard, Tubes.
Yeah.
And I wish him all the success in the world, and I'm so proud of him.
Yeah.
As his brother. So.
And
now I'm going to get emotional again. But oh, Tubesy. He's a good boy, Andrew Marcus.
Andrew Marcus.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's their father's name.
Interesting.
Yeah, they come from a beautiful family.
Yes,
that's the Taylor brothers, brothers, not brothers. They are beautiful parents that they have. Their names are Marcus and Colleen. And even when I moved to Tassie, Colleen, Dan's mum, Tubes' mum, sent the most beautiful message saying, "Hi, darling, welcome to Tassie, love your Tassie mum." And Dan's parents would listen to both shows each day. So I loved that. I'm like, how are they doing that? How are they going from listening to Dan and then listening to
at the same
So
time?
one was on a phone, Mum would listen to that, and then one was a radio, and she'd listen to both her boys, so she was in heaven. She loved
proud
it.
Mum.
Yeah, she was really proud mum.
That's so sweet.
That's so sweet.
As
I won't say
would.
which show she liked more, but it might have been this one. But
this one,
depending on
Now
the
she
day.
gets the
Her favourite kid
great.
changes.
Yeah. I'd love to hear a little bit about the redundancy, and I'm also obviously big on mental health and that type of thing. And I know it's really, really in the process for you as well, but what skills have you had and developed over time that made that blow not the end of the world?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You've never been made redundant, have you?
No.
They didn't fire you from home and away, did they?
No. Yeah, it's ironic actually because I worked for Channel 7 for so many years. The redundancy happened because of the network, our former network, merging with Channel 7, and you would have seen a lot of redundancies with Channel 7, especially women newsreaders. There was a lot. Mental health-wise, when we found out about it, I still hadn't processed it. Right? We all have nervous systems.
Yeah.
So, and shock and grief and things like that, it takes time. So I'm actually now even thankful that the whole process was quite quick.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of
didn't drag.
Yeah. Who wants that? No one wants to stay at a party when you've been asked to leave, right?
No.
No one. I'm not like that. I don't plead or beg or anything. I leave when the time is up. I mean, I've been married for 2 times, for God's sake, before my actual husband. And so mental health wise, the feeling of worthlessness surprised me, because even though they say it's not personal, and it wasn't personal, it was billion-dollar conglomerate trying to look ways that they could save cash. But of course you take it personally. That hurt a bit. And obviously the loss of the connection with listeners really hurt a bit too. But we're resilient people, and I have been actually really surprised by how quickly we just went, oh, okay. Thank you.
I was surprised too, to be honest.
In the nicest of ways.
Yeah.
Like, I have no bad blood.
Yeah.
I'm not driving around thinking about it. Now, like, even with our podcast, I'm driving around thinking about that. Or the kids. Or, oh, what do we need to get? Or what do I need to do now in my personal life?
Yeah.
Go back to your personal life when the work life has been stripped back, because you actually remember how much you have in your actual life and things to do in your personal life. I mean, all of us at the table, how many times can you think of where work has dominated your day and you haven't tended to a task that you were supposed to get to for your children, for life, whatever it might be?
You're talking to one that's left the passports to the last minute.
There you go.
Oh, no.
There you go.
And they're bloody expensive.
And lost the birth certificates.
Yeah.
You're
babe.
talking to the
God.
private.
So you get it, right?
Yeah.
And mental health wise, I've been to hell and back with my mental health. Like, as in, I've lost a baby. I've grieved things at a much deeper level than losing a job. And it's hard. And I'm not saying that anyone who's been made redundant, there is a true grief there, because we put so much of our identity in where we work. But once you can move through that and remember who you are. And I don't mean that in a pretentious way or an egotistical way. I don't mean that in even a performative way. I just mean for anyone listening, remember who you are. Remember the people that love you. Remember what you did before you did that. You had a whole life ahead before you did that. You have a whole life the next chapter. And
that's like Mufasa Cloud, isn't it? Remember who you are, Simba. Yeah, you just think that. It's
right.
Pretty much the same, though. Yeah, but it is a mixture of shock and, embarrassment too, because like everyone knows about it. Like everyone immediately just goes, "Oh, you just got the axe. Must be because you shit." And I'm like, yeah, well, there's an element of that, but like, but also at the same time, like, you got a lot of love. There's people going, "Who are these guys?" And you get negative comments and that kind of stuff, and you're like, God, this is a really public way of getting shafted. But this is the third time it's happened to me, so it's like I was waiting to get old yelled anyway. I'm just like, I just know the industry, like it does happen to way more talented people than us, like, as well. But like, we could be on a show in the next couple of months. You don't know. Like, you don't know whether the tide will bring something into you or take it out, and it's unfortunately life. And for us, like, it was just complete shock out of nowhere. But at the same time, like, it was a kick up the arse for us to go, well, we can start something new. We can try something different. And it doesn't take anything away from who we are as people. We can still do what we do. And we love each other. So, like, the thought of not seeing Christie every day really upset me. That was the hard part. Our producer, Matt, we adored too. Even our other teams, we see them every morning. And for that to, a week ago we had a job, we'd be sitting in the job right now. But at the same time, you're like, in that week, a lot's happened, and a lot, you're never your job. I think that's it. I think that's, you hit the nail on the head with that. You're never, your workplace, and you can love what you do, but it's at home that matters, really.
And your kids aren't your work either.
No.
And they've really learned that, because you talk about mental health. And I said this to my son. I was like, it's hard enough to go to work and have a quiet day work, and just someone makes you redundant in your office, and then you go home quietly and people in the office might know about it. Like, it's very different when the country knows about it, because people talk about it. And my mental health concern was for my boy, because some kids at school said some mean things to him.
Oh, that's awful.
And I think a kid said, "Oh, now your mum has to go work at Macca's." And
that's a pretty good job, though, actually, flipping burgers.
Yeah, well, we did it from a Cappy Day, and certainly not at that point. I'm very much not there. I'm not that I'm never above some honest work, but that to me was weird.
Yeah,
that now kids would pick on another kid, and that's as well because a child had a family member lose something publicly, right?
Yeah.
And so that was my concern. And I said, honey, who cares what people will say? I said, you know who you are. You know who I am. You know what our family is. You know what these four walls are. And I said, what's your emotion right now? Because we talk about mental health in our family. I said, what's your emotion? Sadness. I'm angry. And I said, well, all those things are normal. And I said, and I had all of them too. I said, but guess what? I don't have them now. It's a tide.
It's a tide.
It comes in and it goes back out.
Now we have to befriend a volleyball called Wilson on an island. you know, because the tides are coming in and out, and eventually we'll get off this island. You know? It happens.
Funny bugger.
All the Tom
I love
Hanks
it.
stuff comes back. Life is like a box of chocolates, you know. You
Yeah.
never know what you're going to
totally.
get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in the arts.
I
Yeah.
might try
God.
ping pong from now on,
Yeah.
just
Why
like
not?
Forrest did. We might go for a run.
Go on.
Yeah, you know what? I went for a bushwalk, and it's so nice to just have clarity and
Yes.
just like I'm like I got time on my hands.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
where did this time come from? Like,
Yeah.
usually I was busy as all hell, and I'm like, I got nothing to do. I might go for a bushwalk. Like, it's so
love
simple.
that.
I'm like, yeah, just went for a walk.
And there's no snakes now, which is good.
No. Well,
You will not see me in the
you'd
bush
be
because
pretty
of the
rare to
snow.
see a snake along that.
Yeah, I'm
part.
too
Oh,
scared. Well,
yeah.
I live in, in the Derwent Valley, and
She
I'm
thought, New Norfolk, there's going to be snakes.
There
in
are
suburban
snakes.
New
There are
Norfolk.
snakes.
Thank you
in
very
Norfolk.
much.
Not in suburban New
glad
Norfolk.
because he won't listen to me. I'm like,
And
snakes.
sharks
I've
in the
seen one
Derwent.
on Main
There's sharks
Road
in the Derwent.
Claremont. Like, let alone in New Norfolk.
Yeah.
When we went through buying a house last year, I was like, the few like we were looking, I was like, there cannot be any bush. We put it like there was a house that was beautiful, but it was right on the bush. I was like, absolutely not. We need to be in
Yeah.
the middle of a suburb.
Mm.
So I am not dealing with the snakes.
Snakes.
Oh, yeah.
They're everywhere, babe. They are
Yeah.
everywhere.
They are.
Thank you.
I've seen a few.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like them.
They just
I've
do
never
their own
actually seen
thing.
one
They
before.
slither
Oof.
away. They
Yeah.
don't want to hurt you
yeah.
unless your babies are around. Yeah.
Debatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had one rear up at me. Yeah, when I was in Burnie, and that scared the absolute bejesus out of me.
Was it a
And
snake
you've seen
or a person?
you've seen the trousers
Yeah,
variety
I
with your
was
husband,
waiting for
but
that.
yeah.
You won't get in trouble for that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no,
stop.
I got in trouble for that all the time.
You won't get in
Yeah.
trouble.
But, yeah, but look,
Be on the highlight reel.
Yeah.
arts, working the arts,
Mm.
things change very quickly. We
Yeah.
had big careers before that, and we'll have another one hopefully afterwards.
Absolutely.
And we loved it, and it was great, and we were sad, and we're
Yeah.
so happy just to have had a great time, and
Mm.
life goes on. I mean, Jesus Christ, we weren't out there saving lives. We weren't doctors working and actually.
Mm.
But having said that, I don't mean to be flippant with the respect for the profession. I don't mean Dan and I, but I mean, it is a really powerful thing to have a microphone because you can touch people's lives.
Yeah.
Like when we go back to the woman who fled that horrific domestic violence story, like that stays with you forever.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, of course, there's a true grief attached to
Mm.
when that goes from your life. But
Mm.
And you're also people's safe space. Like a car is such a safe space for people because especially in those environments where that's the only place they're away from that person. And if they can, if they're on their phone and things like that, that's all people can find what you're researching on your phone, but they can't find what you're listening to on the radio. So it's such a safe space to be in.
Yeah, and it's immediate too. That's what I
Yeah.
like about radio because in all the places I've worked, which is thousands now, yeah, like when there's bushfires, when there's floods, you are the voice of
Yeah.
the community, and that's a powerful thing in itself. Like I had to go through Black Saturday in Melbourne, for example. I had to work that afternoon. And even the Lindt coffee siege in
Oh,
Sydney,
yes.
I broadcast overnight. Like I've been part of like every single thing that Australia's gone through too. And you have to be that voice of reason during that time. And as difficult as it is, it's one of the pressures of the job too.
Yeah.
And even in that 4 years, so much happened during that time, and we had to be the voice for everyone. Like there were massive bushfires most summers. We broadcast to country Victoria too, so they're dealing with going through hell. They've lost homes, their jobs, their livelihoods too. And you got to have to bring them through it too. Like during that time, we lost the Queen. Remember that day?
oh, we had
Oh my
to-
gosh.
I know.
the Queen.
Yeah. Her
Yeah.
Majesty.
Oh.
Yeah,
That was a
Her
big
funeral.
day.
that was a big day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big day on air.
Mm.
And there are days like that on air where there's days like you have fun on air and you're just doing fun Friday shows, the TGIF kind of vibe. And then there's days on air where you have to get things very right. They're challenging moments as a broadcaster.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking down to information as well. Like
Yeah.
when you're announcing the death of the Queen, you can't get things wrong. Like there's a lot of pressure that goes on too that you don't always see. And
Yeah.
radio execs will kind of compare it to like a duck above water. You see the duck floating gracefully, but you don't see like the Furies paddling underneath. I don't know if we ever were gracefully getting around.
I've got my plucker duck outfit.
He does.
Water
That
off a
was-
duck's back.
Yeah. But it's water off a duck's back. It has to be, right?
Mm.
You love it, you smile, you move
Yeah.
on.
Love it.
It's only early days, But what is next for Dan and Christie?
Well, we're going to broadcast tomorrow from the caravan in New Norfolk, which is freezing cold. I couldn't feel my legs at the end of it all. But yeah, Christy and I are best mates, so we're going to hang out a little bit more. I've seen her most days this week.
Yeah, we've been so busy. That's the thing. We're so great.
We haven't stopped doing stuff. Like even my social media, I don't care about, but it had 200,000 likes over the last couple of days. I'm like, where did this come from? It was all Christy. But but I'll ride those coattails. But yeah, we didn't really concentrate on social media, but now we kind of have to lean into it. Like you got like 30,000 people on Facebook and I've got like 18,000 as well. And I've never used it really, which is crazy, but we're going to lean into that. Yeah, millennials. Yeah. Oh, it was such a long time ago.
Facebook's where you make money though. So
is it? Yeah. Well, not on my page. I've made $0.
No. Facebook's the only platform that pays for reels.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right.
So it makes you if you
reels
use those 30K followers.
We got to say something controversial so we make a reel on your podcast. What am I going to say?
I'm waiting.
I never learned to read.
I don't know.
No one would care about that. Yeah.
Lucky you're brought on radio.
Whoa!
Sorry, guys, I wrecked that. Yeah. But yeah, we'll just continue to do that. There have been a lot of bosses from around Australia that have got in touch with us too, and there's like, if you need help podcasting, and if you need help getting sponsors on the show,
send them free advice as well.
Yeah, well, we can absolutely. Like, and that's half of it is just like, well, you've got this network of amazing people, and so many people through the industry. Some of our peers, some of the people we adore the most, got in touch. Tammin Sursock, for example, from Home and Away. How good is that? She got in touch. With Christy, not me. But, she's like, that's that stalker guy that had a poster of her in the 90s. But like even her, she's one of the most powerful influencers on the planet. And she's really awesome. And if you're watching, Cam, hello. We'll start a podcast with you anytime. Cool. It'd be really cool to get her on. But we just need, to figure out how to get a third microphone into that caravan.
We'll figure it out. She did.
There's not enough room for her in there. Yeah.
You can come in here.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
just as long as we can have it as well.
We just have to fly.
Just don't do a shoot. Share.
I'm sharing with you guys, and we've all been about sharing.
We're off topic, but we've had guests and they will put on this screen.
Oh, yeah. So
and you talk to them on Zoom. Yeah.
Oh, we got offered, what was his name? He's the guy from Starship Troopers, Michael. We got offered him, and he's like, do you want to do an interview with him tomorrow on your podcast? I'm like, 6 a.m. I'm not getting up that early.
So I think that's what's next is like, it's really nice to be in control. You know what I mean? And we're lucky because it's hard for people when they start a business to start from scratch.
Yeah.
But Dan and I are starting together and with, support.
Yeah.
So I guess now what's next is options and time and family time. Yeah. And I'm not missing out now on my daughter. Like I'm just not doing it. We already missed out on years of our children going to school because we started breakfast radio and you're not home in the mornings and things like that. But I actually really like this. This place is cool. And we've always loved audio and loved podcasting, right? As in the former breakfast radio show I was on had its own podcast. And for 2 minutes in COVID, I did my own one before we started to do this. But when you go back to it, a lot of people start podcasting to get on the radio. We're not doing that.
No.
We're actually really enjoying the creative control and it's ours and we can have fun, and not that we weren't having fun before, but
but I was
you can interact with people.
Like I couldn't say a lot of stuff like that. I got a lot of meetings out of the two of us. Like they'd always go, Dan, you can't do that. But I'm a loose unit. I think that's why. But with this you can do anything. Like, really, there's no.
You can swear.
Yeah, swear. We've
never sworn on air. Like, I have actually. This will make you real. All right. So I pressed a button once accidentally because I was going through like Ooga, bing bong, like going through this button bar, and one of them said room. So I'm just playing this on air, and I pressed the button on air, and this is live to all of Launceston. I pressed this button that said room, and went boom boom boom. Let's go back to my room so we can fuck, and it's just aired like at 8:30 in the morning. Kids in the car.
And what happened though?
And immediately I just went, I wish we had a dump button, chili, and I just pressed the next thing because we didn't have a dump button. Like things could go to where we could have guests on, and they could swear if they wanted to, and quite often they would. There is nothing I could do about it.
Radio stations are required to have dump buttons.
They are supposed to have.
They're supposed to have them.
That was the meeting I had with the general manager. He goes, "What happened there?" I'm like, "Well, funny thing is, you guys need a dump button because I didn't know that was going to happen." And he goes, "But how does that happen?" I'm like, "I don't know." Like that's the only time I've really aired the F-bomb. But I think Jimmy and Nathan the last week said it 3 or 4 times. Yeah.
Oh, it's hard sometimes, like because people will
They're
say
big
that.
swearers in there.
Yeah, they love it. Yeah.
I've said
I
said shit on the. I said ice vulva when I meant to say.
That's
No,
good.
ice vovo.
Yeah.
That was different.
That's funny.
Meet the fuckers. I meant to say
said
fuckers. Like life happens, right?
Yes, it does.
It does. And most people don't complain about it when they hear people just making a genuine mistake.
Yeah.
We're all just human beings, right? Like we're not AI. And yes, you never want to swear on air. We're very respectful that there's kids in the car, but stuff happens. You know,
It
you've
does.
just got to do your best.
It
And
does.
so,
You're going to hear swear words anyway.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I said to my kids, I said,
Road
look,
rage.
Yeah.
I said I care about the context of your swearing, right?
Yeah.
So my 10-year-old last week, did they? What dickheads? I won't say what he was talking about. And I said, thanks, darling. I said, look, I don't like the language. And he said, yeah, but Mum, what other word would you use to describe it? And I thought about it and I went, no, you're right. Like, you're right. And I'm not in agreement with children swearing, but I guess
What dickheads?
what you gotta let people be human, right?
Yeah.
And that's what helps people have good mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To speak freely, to achieve things in life, is not feeling like they can't just, in an appropriate capacity, be who they are. Yeah?
I get it too. My son is so into the magnetic tiles at the moment. He's 2 and he works on them all day. It's like his thing. He just loves them. And it fell down the other day and he goes, oh, shit. It's like, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. All right.
I think it was
I'm
the
not gonna
third
say
word
no.
my kid said was fuck. Because, I was playing skill tester and I had little Isabel and she'd only just started talking mum, dad. I think a third word was my dog that had been dead for 10 years, Bussa. So, like, I'm just playing skill tester and it picked it up and then it dropped it. And I'm like, and she went, fuck. And I'm like, and I started laughing.
You've got to laugh it
Of
off.
course, you do.
My son's highly autistic. He's 11. His name's Hendrix. And last year, and he doesn't speak. He's non-verbal, right? He's learning to speak and he's doing a great job with little words here and there. And we're driving around and something happened and we're trying to find our beautiful dog that had got out and I'm really stressed and I'm driving and I'm going, oh, for sake. And I heard him clear as day in the back just start parodying me, just saying, fuck's sake. And I'm like, oh God, what do I do here? Do I correct this? Like, what do you do as a mum? My child who can't speak speaking. And I went, yeah.
If that's what you're going to say.
If that's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And we tried to play that on the air, but couldn't really play that grab. But, you know.
You can on the podcast, guys. Yay.
We're allowed to swear.
Well,
That's so great.
we will let you guys finish up. I'm sure you've got lots of other things on today. So thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. We've loved having you on, all the different emotions, been sad and happy. And
I'm sorry I cried.
I've also loved...
No, we love that you cry.
Yeah, I've loved your dynamic as well. I've seen you obviously in the studio once before when I've come in, but you were like further apart. So it's nice seeing you so close and the physical.
We're
touch and the
scissoring
love
right
and
now, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, stunning.
Lucky me.
Another highlight reel.
That's maybe the highlight reel.
That's better than not being able to read.
That'd be a nice pulse.
Get out with that. Yeah.
Oh, no, thank you, ladies.
No,
thank you so much for
Thanks,
having
Rihanna.
us.
Thanks, Ash.
Yeah,
I appreciate
it's
it.
been huge.
Congratulations on what you're doing and what
Oh,
you're building
thank
and
you.
the friendship and the women that you're going to help and the listeners that you're going to bring along the way, especially with motherhood, so busy. So thanks for having us on your show. We've had a great time.
you.
No, thank you. And I just want to celebrate all the last 4 years with you guys, listening to you.
Yeah.
It's been, and like, we wanted to grab you guys as soon as we saw the announcement. I was like, oh, is it too soon, Ree? I'll message Dan if not.
We had
But
nothing on.
Yeah. And look, and it's been such an honour. I just think that I probably speak on behalf of Hobart that, you know, we've enjoyed having you guys on the radio for so long and it's been, you know, a grieving process for us as well, losing you guys on the radio. But what a huge thing to celebrate over the 4 years. And what's exciting next is, you know, we can't wait to watch your adventures as well. So thank you.
Thanks,
thank
beautiful.
you so much.
Love you guys.
Thank you guys. And thanks, Hobart.
She's much better at words than me.
I was just more
What she
emotional about
said.
it. I was
What
like,
she-
oh,
I was like, they're gone now. What are we going to do?
literally.